In this movie, we're going to look at making the ever-popular lightsaber. We talked about how to do this briefly in After Effects CS4 Essential Training, but we're going to go in a little bit more detail here. I'm going to start by applying the beam effect, which is really going to be what gets us the results here, to the lightsaber fight footage. You'll notice that by default, beam completely replaces whatever layer it's applied to. We could check composite on original here, and now we have the beam on the layer with the footage. I really prefer not to do that, though. I'm going to delete the beam effect. What I prefer to do always, if I can help it, is to apply the effect to a separate layer. So I've created a black solid layer here, although it doesn't matter what color, because again, once you apply beam to it, if you apply beam to that solid, it completely replaces that layer with the beam. But now we have two separate independent layers that we can move around as we please, use blend modes, a whole bunch of other things. So I really prefer to do it this way. So here we have me and Pavo, great guy, and we're having a little friendly sword fight, you know how that goes. And I'm going to click and drag the left effect control point over to the bottom of the lightsaber here. And the right one, which is the ending point, if you look over here in the effect controls panel, you can see that value moving around. Put the ending point at the tip of the lightsaber. And let's go ahead and increase the length all the way to 100%. So the length of the lightsaber goes from the top to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is to get rid of the effects control points here, I'm going to click to deselect the effect. So I'm going to click here in a blank area in the effects controls panel. Now this seems to be a little off, so what you can do is hold down the command key on the Mac or the control key on the PC and click and drag, let's say the left value, the X value for the starting point and also the ending point. Just to line those up to get those so that they're a little bit more accurate. We might also want to raise the starting point, so we'd adjust the Y-axis, the second value here. It looks like we're doing pretty good. We might want to increase the ending thickness because right now it's kind of a little bit closer to the camera than the starting thickness is, so it should be a little bit bigger here at the top to make it look like it's coming out at us. We have a fairly decent looking lightsaber at this point, but let's improve it. Now there's an inside color and an outside color. The inside color is this kind of like bright pink, and then the outside glow is red. Now obviously if you're familiar with Star Wars, you know that the color of your lightsaber tells a lot about the person. It's almost like the Star Wars version of a horoscope. Let's go to Effects and Presets. And instead of changing the color here, which would require us to change the inside color and outside color, I'm happy with the bright inside and the colored outside. So what I'm going to do is apply the hue saturation effect. And now all we have to do is move the master hue, and that will change the color of our lightsaber, whether we want to be green or whether we want to be blue here. Or you could be Samuel L. Jackson's character and be purple if you'd like. I'm just going to leave mine set to blue for the time being. And one other thing we can do here to make this look extra cool is apply the glow effect. We do that and we now have a better lightsaber. If we want to make the core a little bit brighter, we can click the inside color and just take this a little bit closer to white, which brightens up again the core of the lightsaber. We have some additional values here we could play with glow. We can decrease the threshold so more of the lightsaber is glowy, and we can drag it to the right so that less of the lightsaber is glowy. I kind of like the default value somewhere around 60 or so. We could also increase the glow radius to make this glow a little bit brighter. The more you spread out the glow, the less it's concentrated directly on the lightsaber itself. So I don't want to take that up too much. So again, somewhere around the default value of 10 is pretty good in this case. Now here's one of the big challenges I'm going to leave you with. As we play this footage, you'll notice that Pavo and I actually have a lightsaber fight, which is really cool. So what you'd want to do then at that point is that as I move my lightsaber, then you would want to animate my starting point so it matches the red marker here at the beginning of my lightsaber. And we'll want to click the ending point and click that at the end of the lightsaber. And there we go. And you'd rotoscope this, animating it frame by frame by frame, which is really time consuming and really beyond the scope of this tutorial. But that's what you'd want to do if you want to bring this to life. Now, alternatively, you could also, actually, let me go down here to switches and modes in the timeline panel, click the effects icon here in the timeline to turn off all effects. And actually, I'll just turn off the visibility of the black solid here. But we have these little red points. And so if you wanted to, you could use the tracking system in After Effects, or you could use, say, Mocha for AE or something to track those red points and then paste the tracking data into the beam effect. But regardless, the tutorial is about how to create a lightsaber, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. You're now ready to defend the galaxy, or at least doctor footage to make it look like you are.